Okay, in this video we'll be showing structured text programming with using a structured text timer, how to use a timer in a structured text program, and we'll also be showing how to use your structured text as your main routine and use it to call other routines or jump to subroutines. To explain a little bit about the environment we're working in, this is a RSLogix 5000, and we are using the RSLogix 5000 virtual chassis or emulate chassis. So I have not done anything with the program as far as making anything. I started this bare from scratch. So what we have is we have the main routine or the main task. We have the main program. At that point we'll add a new routine. We'll change the type to a structured text. In the assignment, we want to make sure the assignment is at the main, and then we'll call this main routine. Okay, so now we have that made. We'll go ahead and make another routine, and we'll call this test. Or we'll just say ladder routine, and we'll change the type to a ladder diagram. And so now we have two routines, and if we look under main program, we go to properties, you look under configuration, you'll see that the assignment routine, the main is set to main program. So then we go to main program, and first and foremost, if you want to call it the next routine, which would be the ladder routine, you do a JSR, and then you type in the routine name. And then make sure you end your statement. So personally, I like to make sure everything's right. I usually use capital. That's just my preference. It doesn't have to be. The next thing we're going to do, so now we have our main routine linked to our ladder logic routine. So everything is linked together. Next thing I'd like to do is make a timer, and we'll call this timer our structure text. Structured text timer. And we'll make that timer, and you want to make sure when you make the tag that you make the tag as not a standard timer. You want to go down to the FBD and choose that timer. So not the standard timer, you want the FBD timer. And then we create. So at this point we have the timer, and what we want to do is just browse the tag database, come in and select our preset. So in our preset, we want to set the value of our preset to 200 or 2500 milliseconds, and then close the statement. Oh, sorry, I should have put equal right there. So you can tell when you do a mistake, it will show the little squiggly lines up underneath it and let you know something's not right. So then we'll do the same thing here. We'll just merely copy this, paste, go browse, and then we'll come back and we'll say enable. So this will be the enable. So we want to set this bit to a 1 to be able to have it run. If you set it to 0, the timer will not run. Or you can control that. You can actually have a bit right here that says, on, off, or whatever you want it to. It doesn't have to be 1. It has to equal the value of a 1, so it would have to be a bool bit and not a dent or anything like that, unless you use the dot of the dent. So again, we'll just keep on programming the timer, and we will come to the next portion, browse, and then at this point we have our enable, we have our timer enable, we have everything we need here. So I believe there is, there's a reset feature. So at that point you can reset it when it hits done. So what we could have did is that I think it might have been timer enable is what we should have used. So right here, instead of enable, I think it is timer enable, but we'll run it like this first. So again, we'll come back and program the rest of it. Browse your tags, come back and pick, so we got our preset, we have our timer enable, we have your statuses and everything of that nature. So what we want right here is the reset feature, and then we need to have this as, so this will be timer reset when the timer is done. So we'll paste the code again, browse, not edit, I'm sorry. We'll browse, and then we'll say when it's done. So when the done bit comes on, then we'll reset the timer. And again, close your statement, or you won't be able to run it. At this point, we need to actually, let's just, for the sake of things, let's see for a second how, let's just go ahead and assemble that. Let's download. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to add something else, but I'd like to just show this feature. So we're downloading. And we do want to, so we're not running because our timer is not basically set right now. So we haven't created it. So what we need to do is come in and select timer. Actually, then we put our timer, and then close your statement. Now with that said, all we did was really call our timer at that point. With that said, go to watch or either Alt 3, and now we have our timer. We have our preset. We have our timer enabled, Okay, so we're still not running. So that tells me that, let's see, this could be the factor of the timer enable bit. So it's staying a 1. So that's timer enable. Okay, so what looks like happened here is we possibly made a second timer. So we need to say the text timer, we should come back and put, so scratch this, we'll say structure text, browse the file. Actually, let's use this. We'll browse the file, come down here, and we still select from our features, timer enable equals 1. Close your statement, and then for preset, still do the same thing. So I'm still not 100% convinced that this will work, because I'm not sure why it has 2 of the same tags. It may have, when I made it the first time, it may have duplicated. Okay, so that worked that time, and that was because we had the, when we set this, when we put our time in there, it was because of the fact of we already made the timer appear. And what really should have happened is we should have said, we should have put this statement at the very top. We would have put it at the very top and then made it from that point. It would have created the timer, and then we could have came down here and selected. So you see right now it's going 100, or it's going 250 milliseconds, and it's resetting. So you see the done bit will come on. Well, you may actually structure text, it won't come on. You can't see it. It actually, it happens so quick you won't be able to see it. So you can trend it and see it. So our timer timing bit is on, and that's because the timer is timing out. So let's change this. Let's go to 5 seconds, and now again we go back to view, watch, and now it's actually scrolling through and using the timer for every 5 seconds. Now to prove this out, what we can do is we can say that this timer, we can go into our ladder logic, and we can say when this timer is at its done state, what we would like to do is start a second timer. And this does 2 things. This shows that the subroutine we made right here will work. We'll call this, we'll just say ladder timer. And again, standard timer, it doesn't have to be the DVD or DBD. And then we'll put this at 3 seconds. What we'll do, we'll come back and latch this in. and we'll say if timer's timing, then we'll maintain the time. However, if the timer finishes, we want to reset. So this timer is being triggered off of the timer up here that we're running in structured text. So we're using the structured text timer done bit to initiate the start of another timer in the ladder logic, and we're using the timer timing bit to keep it latched in to make sure the timer completes its cycle. And when it completes its cycle, the done bit comes on and it unlatches the rung. So with that said, that shows how to do a timer inside a structured text program. So make sure you have you're calling for your timer with a TONR. So which is, it shows right there, it's a timer on delay with reset. So with that said, you want to make sure you use the correct file, or the correct timer, and then so that will, and then make sure you program your preset. Make sure you program your enable. So let's do this. Let's say enable 0. So this should cut the enable off, so the timer should not run at this time. Go back to watch, and the timer is not timing, right? So let's do an example. Let's add timer control, and we'll make this a bit level, so we'll make it a bool, and then we'll run it. Okay, so now what we'll do, and this shows you a little bit more control. We'll go back to watch, and now we have our watch down here looking at everything. Now again, the bit is 0, the control bit is 0, so it's not enabling the timer. If I change that to 1, the timer starts. Now if I change that back to 0, timer stops. Again, 1 starts, and the ladder logic routine is working. Now if we were to go back to the structured text program and we cut it off, I'm sorry, did a 1 again. So we cut it off, and we go back to the ladder routine. We see the timer is not even initiating to start. That's because we are using the done bit from our structured text timer. So as soon as we enable this back, then we go back to the structured text timer, or the ladder logic timer. Then the structured text timer that is using the done bit starts the routine, or starts the enable for the drive, or not for the drive, for the timer. When the enable comes on, we use the timer timing bit. Instead of using the enable, we use the timer timing, so that we know that it's in process, and we know it's accelerating up, it's accumulating up. So with all that said, that shows how to link, or how to make a structured text your main program, how to program a JSR to the second routine, how to make a timer, how to program the timer for presets, how to use the enable bit of the timer to cut it on and cut it off, and then how to reset the timer using the reset feature. So when it goes done, we reset it. Now you can put anything right here. You don't have to put the done. You could put timer reset and reset it whenever you want to. Just kind of like what we did with the timer control up here. You can do that same thing. So the sky's the limit, but I just wanted to show you the base principle of what we did and give you an understanding of how to make the main routine from the program a structured text routine, how to call it a JSR, and how to use a timer, program a timer in a structured text, and how to use a timer in a structured text to be used anywhere else in the program. So with all that said, I hope you learned, hope you got something out of this video. And if you would like, just leave me a comment on what you would like to see. If you'd like to see more about structured text, if you'd like to see more about servos, state machines, function blocks, all 4 languages of ControlLogix, just leave me a message. Let me know what you would like to see. I'll keep posting videos. We'll keep growing, keep getting better. The whole emphasis of this is just to make sure we pass on the information as the process grows, as the controls get further and further along, the software gets more and more, the versions get higher and higher. So the way we operate these controls, for the most part, stay the same. So the base foundation stays the same, especially in structured text. There are some other additive things when it comes to servos and stuff of that nature. When it comes to the higher versions, lower versions, that's mainly the stuff that changes. They do fix a lot of anomalies, but the base function of programming is what we're trying to get out of this. So we want to give everybody a good foundation, help each other grow, help each other get the base knowledge, and just keep building upon continuous learning. So again, if you would like to like to see a video on something else, if you would like to know about any other thing that you show interest in, that you would just like to, you feel like you could grow in, or maybe a topic that you would just like to re-go over and maybe get a different perspective, just please leave me a comment and subscribe to the channel, because we will be having a lot more videos coming out and a lot more things to to help out. So please hit the subscribe button, and again, I apologize for my scratchy voice. It's kind of, weather's changing, but I just want to let you know that I do appreciate you watching the video, and hit subscribe if you like. Leave me a comment on what you would like to see, and thank you for your time.